Welcome guys, Brendan here from Terminated Gaming, and once again we're back on World of Warships with another replay. This time, once again, I believe we've featured the Kronshtadt before, but if we haven't, it's the Tier 9 Premium Russian Cruiser, Battle Cruiser, Kronshtadt. Kronshtadt, very fun ship. I absolutely enjoy playing this ship. It's basically the Russian equivalent to an Alaska in some regards, except where the Alaska you might fire HE a little bit more often, in the Kronshtadt you find yourself firing a lot of AP, because the Russian HE is not as good as the Russian AP. But anyways, we're divisioned up with two guys from my clan, Gecko and his FTG, and 90 and his Ibuki. And this match is very interesting towards the end of it, so stay tuned for that. But as always in the beginning, this slow start will be marked with me shamelessly plugging other content on the channel. If you haven't already checked out the playlist of this series of all of the replays since we started, check that out in the top right. There's some pretty good games in there, including a 313,000 damage game in the Iowa, which all started this way back in November. The other series I'd like to plug here is our newest series. It's called New Line, and 2 episodes have been released at the time of this. The 3rd episode I'm pretty sure I will hold off on making for a little while, just because it takes a little bit of time to kind of get all the material together, write the script, and make all the images possible with all the slides of information. There's a lot of information involved in ship making. But basically, New Line is my proposed changes or additions to ship lines in the game, things I'd like to see, things I'd like to see changed. The first episode was on American battleships. Went over really well with most people. And then the second one, not so much, which was American battle cruiser lines. I'm guessing there were some things in there that people didn't enjoy, but I encourage you, if you disagree with any of the builds or any of the recommended things that I say in those New Line episodes, to respectfully comment what you would like to see instead down below. Anyways, back to this match. Enemy Neptune spotted out there at range. Kronshtadt accuracy not great, along with adding me on top of it, also not great, but we get one hit. But as you saw, that salvo was kind of a shotgun early there. Main thing is I'm hoping they keep that Neptune lit, because Neptune is very squishy, and this thing is really good against squishier targets, because you're not likely to overpen as much as you are, like as you if you're in a battleship against a broadside Neptune. Yeah, either way, the Neptune starts turning in a little bit, so we get 2 bounces. We hit his armor belt instead of his side, or we hit his armor belt at an angle where it was an automatic bounce. He ends up taking a 2 torps from the Skane, but we get better hits there against the invisible Neptune than we did originally. And at this point, I'm deciding, well, let's push forward and see what we can do. Pop my radar, spot the Haida with it, and I'm pushing up to make sure this Neptune can't go unspotted, but then, yeah, 3 Citadels, Dev Strike, First Blood, which activates our Emergency Reserves talent. So we get an extra radar, extra heal, and an extra spotter plane. Woohoo, the spotter plane, right? Very rarely use that. Now I'm engaging the Palmer in there, missed him as he turned hard inward. Not a huge deal. I'm actually reloading HE for the Palmer. Instead of shooting at the Scharnhorst, I'm going to shoot at the Palmer, because the Palmer is the one that's closing on us. And then I'm like, oh, hey, I'll shoot the Haida, who's basically stationary, instead with the HE that I have loaded. And the Haida starts reversing. And I was like, oh, of course. Normal behavior there would have been for somebody to start pushing forward, but the Haida actually chose to reverse, which, hey, good on him. He went against the norm, and it really messed with me. So I fire HE close to us when he sped back up. Haida has a slow smoke screen time, but I alas didn't get very much there. Start reloading AP again here for the broadside Palmer. Haida does get spotted again, so I was kind of hoping I would have been ready for that. Palmer's hard turning inwards, so, but we still do 14,000 damage to his side there, which was really nice. I call a focus fire on the Palmer because he's the furthest thing forward. He's the biggest thing causing a threat to our Skane right now. As you can see, he's really heavily focused on that Skane. Do another 12k to the Palmer in there, so we're just waiting for the rest of our team to kind of catch up and take out that Palmer. I popped my first heal of the battle here, as I'm getting pummeled by that Palmer at secondaries, along with the other ships that are over here. As the Palmer got closer, our salvos got worse and worse, so 9k on that one, almost 10k, and Gecko takes him out with his FTG. So at this point, I'm just keeping the bow towards the enemy here and just slowly working my way forward until my next radar for the Haida. But I'm going to shoot the Kronshtadt while I wait and reload HE. We bounce quite a few off the Kronshtadt. Kronshtadt has really good armor, except for if it suffers like the Petropavlovsk and other Russians, where it has a weaker upper bow than a weaker lower bow. We get set on fire here again, so I pop in for a single fire. No longer spotted right now, so here we spot the Haida with the radar. I believe these are short and forward of him, so bad shot on my part. And here, just trying to maybe avoid this Haida's torpedoes, and they die out beforehand. I think we would have turned to avoid them anyways, but if we wouldn't have, I think they would have died. The other side of the map is, of course, on the weaker side. We only had 3 guys over there, and so those guys are kind of complaining, rightfully so. We should be moving a little bit more aggressively here, but the main thing is we didn't want to get caught by that Haida and get torpedoed. Most of these guys. I can't shoot the Kronshtadt in this situation right now, so I'm requesting fire on the Kronshtadt while I'm engaging the Scharnhorst. Enemy Haida pops back up again. Aimed too far forward on the Scharnhorst. I figured he was going to speed up, but he took him forever to get back down to speed, or back down to 0 so he could speed up. So those shells were really poorly aimed. Fire AP against the Haida because it's what's loaded. Get a hit, but we cause him to start moving again because somebody was actually shooting at him. Here at this point, I'm gonna shoot at the Scharnhorst, but I'm gonna execute a starboard turn here to try to get us in a position to support the other flank once we can. Waiting for the Scharnhorst to fire before I slam it full speed and make my turn. Scharnhorst really vastly underestimated how much I was gonna slow down, and then my shells just one overpen. Somebody else fired and missed against him. Main thing is here, maybe we might get the cap off here. I'm waiting for everybody else to kind of just get some shots in on this guy as well. He's really still adamant to shoot AP at me, which I think with HE he would have been doing way better here in this situation. Same with me at this point. I've noticed that once I bounced again, I was like, okay, HE does against this guy. But pretty soon he's going to be around that corner far enough where I will not be able to be shot by him, so that's what I'm waiting for him to do, and then I will execute a hard right turn. We get 3 shots as a parting gift to him. He misses his salvo. Kronshtadt does speed up pretty quick for its size. Kaga is going after our Gneisenau on the further side instead of going after any of us, which can't complain. It's really nice of him to leave us alone. I pop my radar here for the Ostergotland, and I also popped my first of my 6 spotter planes. I had AP loaded, so that was unfortunate. Missed all of them anyways against the Oster. A lot of that coming down to my poor shooting there. But Gecko's, I think, within range. I didn't even reload HE for him, and I missed him again. At this point, I was really frustrated with continuously missing him. And it comes down to my poor aim, not the actual ship's fault at all. None of that was down to the Kronshtadt. It's just I can't hit a target, or couldn't hit a target to save my life. Finally, switch over to HE here against these destroyers coming in close against us, and turn inward to try to avoid fire from the Colorado. Ostergotland's engine's out. He's still trying to sail away. The carrier is harassing him. We get no hits again. That time I'll blame a little bit more on the bracket to either sides of the Ostergotland than my shooting, but fire another one against him. I just can't hit him again. Just terrible luck both times there. Enemy CV tries to engage our Gneisenau. He's constantly been harassing the lower tier ship. Well, with the HE loaded, I still am going to fire it at whatever I can, which just so happens to be the Colorado, for very little effect. Like I said, Russian HE is not that efficient against target, or really against anything besides destroyers. And here's my A scared moment was that Minnesota thought he was going to shoot me as I'm broadside to him, but he actually was targeting, I believe Gecko is the next closest person to me. Just have to speed up to avoid these torpedoes here. Open up against the Nelson. He did extinguish a fire, so I'm trying to get another one against him. Nelson actually firing AP and was shooting at myself in the situation, which was interesting because the other ones seemed to not care about me at all. They were caring more about Gecko, or even 90, who's also behind me here. Kaga's engaging with his planes here, keeping me lit against this Kagero, but we get the Kagero because 90 smacks him right before we do. Main thing is to keep that turn, take a decent lick of damage from the Colorado because of it, but better than the inevitable torpedoes. We could survive the Colorado, the torpedoes potentially not. Colorado's burning pretty nicely here. We're continuing to fire with the HE. The main thing was to clear Gecko and then try to speed back up to get back into a turn so we can face these guys. The Colorado is still actually actively wanting to engage. Well, he switched over to 90 right there, but he was aiming at both me and 90 in this situation. He's going to end up burning to death with 1200 health left, but I believe 90 is actually going to be, yep, snagging that kill with the gunfire. So switching fire over to the Nelson and reloading AP as well. I don't know why the AP choice here, but we do end up getting another fire against the Nelson there, which I believe he damage conned because we are not taking any fire damage. And while that's going on, I'm going to openly engage the Minnesota up to the north with AP fire. And we get a Citadel against the Minnesota and 12,000 damage against him. Reloading HE again for the Nelson. I'm watching the Kaga planes here. Kaga's going to clip us with a couple of these, but hey, that's not going to be terrible. Actually, no, we managed to dodge all of those. That's actually really surprising. The maneuverability of Kronstadt's actually really surprising. And 90 here accidentally lands a couple torpedoes on Gecko as he was trying to squeeze him in between Gecko and the island. So Gecko ends up going down. He lost enough health from 90's torpedoes. 90 also lost health from doing friendly fire damage. And I'm only on... I'm on 40,000 health. I still have 3 heals. 90's behind me here, still trying to put fire into the Nelson as well as he tried to torpedo the Nelson. And don't believe he lands any of the torpedoes that he aimed for the Nelson. I reloaded AP, tried to shoot it at the Nelson, and then remembered, hey, this thing doesn't have Petropavlovsk level pen. Minnesota finishes off 90 in his, which is a smart move. Our Kiev burns down the Nelson, so now it's just the enemy Ostergotland, Minnesota, and Kaga left. We're up on points, so me making this decision that I'm doing right now is very, very dumb. Minnesota lands for 1 against our nose, which causes full damage. And that gives us our Confederate there. That shot against the Minnesota's flat side. Unfortunately, many of the shells didn't even come close to hitting him. We're up to 135,000 damage. 2 kills. Getting to shoot at the Minnesota here again. 7 hits. 3 overpens, 4 pens. He gets another 2 pens against us. Minnesota's guns are not to be trifled with. They are really impressive and devastating. There we didn't get as many hits against him that time. He misses entirely. And at this point I already pre-reloaded HE as he's no longer broadside to us because he ran aground, so he needed to back up. Meanwhile, our CV is actively trying to go on after the Ostergotland, and the Kaga is actively trying to go against myself. So since I had the HE loaded, I decided to shoot at the Oster. Meanwhile, the Minnesota's front turret misses against me. We get a hit against the Ostergotland. We're getting lucky here with these salvos going against us missing. I continue to keep the HE loading here. I should have reloaded AP. As that Minnesota is just giving us such a nice target now at this range. So I decided to switch back to it now. Hoping that HE gets a fire. No fire. 4,100 damage. Gotta worry about Ostergotland torps here, but I am actually completely unaware of torpedoes, if I'm being honest. I see the Minnesota turning again, so I aim a little higher, do 8,800 damage. Minnesota actually bounces a couple off of the deck armor there. We get set on fire by the destroyer, who I can't see because he's behind an island. 2 overpins against the Minnesota's upper. And there's the Ostergotland torpedoes. We get lucky there. I extinguished a fire to get a double fire by the Kaga on me, which is very unfortunate. I have a heal triggered right now. I am also running Kuznetsov, so I do have a heal if emergency levels get down to that point, which it might, because the Ostergotland is just pumping damage after damage after damage. And I'm just hoping at this point that the Minnesota doesn't get lucky and do a whole bunch of damage to me. But there's Will for Victory Talon, all the fires extinguished, and we automatically start healing some health back. I see the Minnesota is trying to turn to get his rear gun, so I switch over to AP here, get the high caliber before that. He fires his front guns. 1 HP there for a second. 1 whole HP. If you don't believe me, go back and rewatch. We got down to 1 hit point. I'm trying to swing out that rear turret before the CV gets me, and we kill the Minnesota, and I get to live. Woo. 1 hit point there from the Minnesota hit. 190,000 damage in that game. 3 kills. Depth Strike, Confederate, High Caliber, Treadnought, First Blood. Man, what a battle. I came top of the team, 2,600 base XP, almost 900 base XP, higher than the next person, which is our Kiev. Our CV is also up there pretty high. And 007, Ostergotland on the enemy team, who, honestly, our team almost shouldn't have won that match. Especially with 90 deciding that Gecko was a part of the enemy team with his torpedoes. Our damage breakdown, 70,000 to almost to the Minnesota, 41,000 to that Neptune at the early part of the match. Just spread it around quite a bit. Hit accuracy not as good as in other ships. We also had 3 million potential damage in that battle, so it was a pretty good match all around. And Kronshtadt is a premium ship. Here is the breakdown, 1.4 million credit profit. And no one really cares about the XP. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. So it'd be much appreciated, and I'll catch you guys most definitely on the next one. Peace out.
Shut up and sit down.